Okay, the Gemara today is interesting. The Gemara is going to take off on a question sent from Eretz Yisrael. They got a letter from Eretz Yisrael, and the crux of the letter was that this case made no sense in Dinei Mamanis. And the Gemara is going to suggest exactly what the case was. So in other words, it didn't make any sense that this was the halacha. But as we're going to see, we're going to try to figure out why it didn't make any sense. In other words, I'm going to give a case. I'm going to say that case doesn't make any sense. Then we're going to say, no, the case does make sense. And then we're going to look for another case. So it's a bit of a jumble of different things, some which we've discussed before, some which we haven't. So let's begin. We're beginning about 5 lines up on Kuf Nun Ches on the base. Okay. About 3 lines up. Ben Sholchemitam. They sent from Eretz Yisrael. Ben Sheloiva benichsei aviv, a ben that borrowed money against the nechasim of his father. He didn't inherit it yet, and he's using his father as collateral. Bechaye aviv umeis, and he dies, meaning the ben who borrowed dies. Beno motzi miyad al-kuchis. The grandson, the son of the son, he collects from the lekuchis. Bezuhi shekasha b'dinei mamanis, and this is what a case of that's kasha b'dinei mamanis. So we have a son that's borrowing against the father's property, the chasam that he didn't have, and now he's dying, and now his son is collected from the lekuchis. Fred Gemara, first of all, loiva, my mafik. The loiva over here, my mafik. What did he take out? You have a loiva over here, right? You have this son, this son who borrowed. My mafik. What did he take from the hands of the lekuchas? He didn't take anything from his father at all. In other words, the son takes away, the grandson takes away from the lekuchas. What? He didn't take anything from his father. In other words, there has to be something in the hands of lekuchas for the grandson to take away. What did lekuchas take from the father? V'oid, lekuchas mayavidite. Why are there lekuchas here at all? In other words, the case is missing a lot of information. You're missing 2 pieces. One, that the grandson takes away from lekuchas. Where did you ever find lekuchas taking anything? And straightens where there was no mention of lekuchas whatsoever. If you want to learn the case of the Sholchem Mitam, which was so difficult, here's the case. It's Amid Aleph, guys. This case, this is the case that what? If you want to learn the case, guys, here's the case. Ben shemacha benichsei aviv. A ben, he sold the nechasim of his father. The ben went ahead and he sold in the nechasim of his father. So he didn't collect his chelik yet. It's roy to come to him, and he goes ahead and he sells it in the lifetime of the father. Umeis, and then that person who sold it dies, and then also the father dies. So you have 2 people dying. The son who sold it, and the father now, and now it becomes inheritable, right? It becomes that he can inherit it. Beno, his son, motzi miyad lekuchas, the son of the dead son, can take from the hands of the lekuchas that his father had sold it to. V'zui shekosha medinei mamanis, and this is difficult in dinei mamanis. Okay, guys, let's discuss something over here. I think that permeates the sugya. When a person inherits his grandfather, there's 2 ways to look at him inheriting his grandfather. That is, his father, Bekever, is inheriting his father, and now it's coming to you. So you have Ruvain, you have Yaakov, Ruvain, and Chanoich. It ends up by Chanoich. How did Chanoich get it from Ruvain? Did he get it? Did he from Yaakov? Did he get it directly from Yaakov? Meaning, if Reuven dies and Yaakov's still alive, when Yaakov lives, Chanoch gets it directly from his grandfather. That's one way to look at it. Or there's another way to look at it, that when Reuven predeceased Yaakov, but when Yaakov dies, Reuven inherits it bekever. Reuven gets it bekever, and Reuven gets it bekever. It would go to Chanoch. So Chanoch's getting it. The question is how? Did he get it through his father or directly from his grandfather? His father's dead. We know already from Yesh Nochlin that Yoresh bekever. We spoke out. A grandson would get before a daughter, right? In the pecking order. The son is, guys, you got that? Fellas, you have that, right? So comes along this son, he wants to collect from the Lekuchas, right? He wants to collect from the Lekuchas. Why should he be able to collect from the Lekuchas? The only way, if he gets it directly from his grandfather, the Lekeach had nothing to do with this. A son sold something that he never received. He sold it, and the grandfather went ahead, died, and he gave it directly to the grandson, Chanoch, without Reuven being part of the parsha. Reuven went ahead and sold it to what? To Lekuchas. So now the son can, then you're saying that they can go ahead and get directly from the Lekuchas. So if it gets from the grandfather directly, I can understand why it goes directly from Lekuchas. That makes sense. After all, the father Reuven never got it. But if you view Chanoich getting it from Reuven, why in the world is Chanoich able to collect from the people that Reuven sold it to? Reuven had shaykhs to this. Reuven collected it. And the Mela, if you hold that's the inyan that he gets from Reuven in the kever, so Reuven who sold it, why does Chanoich have a right to take it away? That's is the dialogue over here, the underlying dialogue of this Gemara. So one more time. Itmar. Ben Shemecha b'nechsei Aviv. Reuven is selling in the nechasim of Yaakov. B'chayei Aviv in the lifetime of Yaakov. Umeis. And Reuven dies. And Ran and Yaakov dies. B'no Chanoich. Moitzimi al-Lekuchas can take it away from the people that Reuven sold it to. V'zui shekoshem b'dinei mamanis. And this is why difficult dinei mamanis. This is what they sent from Eretz Yisrael. This is the case that doesn't make sense. Why? V'leim rulei avuch mazvin v'yat mafik. Why? It doesn't make sense. Your father sold it and you're taking it away. Your father sold it and why are you taking it away? Now, why would that be hard, fellas? That's hard if you hold that Reuven inherits bekever. Then it's hard. Umay kushya. Dilma matzi amar mikoyach avu da abakasina. I'm coming mikoyach what? Yaakov, who I got it directly from. Guys, the way to learn in the Gemara, the Kash and the Teretz, guys, it's beautiful. Why doesn't it make any sense? Because you're hold that what? That you're being Yorish, that Chanoich is being Yorish Reuven. So the Kuchas say, the Kuchas Kataina, your father Reuven sold it to us, and you Chanoich are taking it away from us. Says the Gemara, why is it so difficult? Reuven never sold it to them. Reuven never got it. Reuven died. And you know why Chanoich can take it away from them? Because it was never Reuven's to sell. Because he never got it. It went directly. So I'm coming Mikoyach, my grandfather. So therefore, why is it so hard to understand? That's the Gemara's dialogue. If you view it as what coming from Reuven, then it's a problem. How can he take it away? But if you view it coming from Yaakov, then l'chara there's no problem whatsoever. So why is this Dov Shebekasha of Dinei Mamonis? I don't understand. Did I get a bobblehead on this? It's Geshmak Alumdus, guys. Geshmak Alumdus on the right. Okay. Teda, I'll prove to you that a child inherits his grandfather. Tichsiv, Tachas Avasecha Yeh Banecha. So you see, in place of the father, should be the father is the son. So therefore, fellas, that can't be the case of Sholchem Itam, because we figured it out. If you get directly from your grandfather, it's totally understandable why Chanoich could take it away from the Lekuchos. Eli Kasha, you want to question a case that is difficult? Here's the case. Hakasha. Ben Macha, Ben Bechar, Shemacha Chelich Bechar B'chayav. So the same case. Reuven is the Bechar. Reuven says he's not selling his Chelik Pashut. He's selling his Chelik Pishnayim. He's selling what? He's selling his double portion, right? Umeis b'chayi aviv, and Reuven dies in the lifetime of Yaakov. B'no chanoch, motzi me'alekuchas can go ahead and take back the chelik pishnayim that Reuven had sold to these lekuchas. V'zui shekosher b'dinei mamanis. Avu and Masvin, your father sold, Reuven sold, and Ihu, you, chanoich, are being mafik. And the Havamina is that, like, Zicha, the Pishnayim is going through the father, guys. And why is this different than the first case? Because the Chelik Pishnayim is unique to Reuven. Says Gemara, what are you going to say? Hachanami Amar Mikoyach Avu da Abba Kasino. You're going to say that what? I'm coming Mikoyach, the grandfather, right? Right? And so, what's the problem, guys? Chanoich is not the Bechor of Yaakov. Chanoich, what are you telling me? I'm coming to collect the Chelek of the Bechorah. Mikoyach, my grandfather. Now, your grandfather is giving it to the Bechor. Reuven was the Bechor. You're not the Bechor. So if you go directly from you, yeah, Taina is not a Taina. So L'chayra, this is the case where we don't understand why Chanoich could take it away from what? From the Lekuchos. After all, Chanoich is not what? Chanoich is not a Bechor. So he can't say I'm getting directly what from my father. Says the Gemara, right? So if you're coming to the chelik of the bechor, what's the chelik of the bechor? What's it doing by you? In other words, you're not a bechor. So it said, my kushya, right? I'm coming mikoyach my grandfather, and I'm in the place of my father. In other words, I am a bechor. Since my grandfather would give it to my father. My father's the Bechor, so I'm coming mikoyach that, and therefore I could take it away from you. So therefore, that's not the case that's so shver. Eli kasha, if you want a case that's shver, kasha. Here's the case. Edis bishtar, achle nasa gazlan. Again, we're totally switching gears, right? Again, we're looking for this sholchem itam, a case that doesn't make any sense. Edis bishtar, achle nasa gazlan. He's written in the shtar, whatever it's discussing, and now he's a Goslin, so he's Pasal Edis, Benasa Goslin. So we want to testify that it's his signature and that he wasn't a Goslin. So who any Meir al Ksav Yadai, he can't testify on his signature because he's a Goslin. We don't believe him. Avlacherim Meidim, right? We have a different gersa. Avlacherim Yicholim Mekayim Ksav Yad. Other people give Mekayim his get. Now, so what's the kasha? He's not believed on his signature. Achrina mehimna, other people would be believed. And this is what we find difficult in Dinei Mamanis, that he's not believed, but other people would be believed. It says, my kusha, okay, it's machlokes rishonim over here. I like to go with Tosfos. Tosfos could go into Ksav Yadi bebezdin in the middle of the Tosfos. Alachi pirushay. Huchse Ksav Yadi bebezdin. Sharo bezdin Ksav Yadi koidim shenasa gazlan. Bezdin saw his ksav before he became a gazlan. So in other words, you know why other people can do it? Because he can't do it because he's a gazlan. They could do it because they know for sure that this shtar took place before he was a gazlan. Okay? Okay, that's the way. Let's go with that Tosfos. That Tosfos is being machzik that what that is being machzik that what he wasn't a gazlan. Back in the Gemara. So therefore, that can't be the case of the Shalchem Itam. El ikasha hakasha hayidela edis b'shtar ashlei tipel ba b'Yerusha. In other words, the Rashash brings the case. You sign on a shtar. You are a distant relative, and there's no way that you're going to go ahead and ever be Nageya B'davar. Obviously, if it's Yerusha's Nageya you, you're Nageya B'davar, and Nageya B'davar is Pasal Edis. So what happens? A series of events happens that now you end up signing the shtar and end up with the property. No, it's similar to Goslin. That in other words, Goslin, you Pasal Edis here, you also Pasal Edis because you're Nageya B'davar. So a series of events occurred that you ended up on a shtar Yerusha that what you had no right being on. That normally had it been directly, but now but when you put your name on there, you didn't think it was going to be there. Who any yachal l'kaim k'sav yadai avulchem yachal l'kaim k'sav yadai says going my kosher dilma hachanami going shehuksav k'sav bezdin. So also maybe we had a bezdin. They would go ahead and mekayim his shtar before this event took place. Elai kasha kasha You knew Adis until what? You became his son-in-law. So you signed on a shtar, and for someone eventually become your father-in-law. So now you're apostle as Korav. V'nasa chasnoi, who ain't a mayid, al ksav yadai. He can't go ahead what and testify what on his ksav yadai. He can't testify what on his ksav yadai. Aval acheir me'idim. Others could. Said hu loy mehimna. Aval achrina mehimna. And right. So now that's shver that he's believed. He's not believed that others are. But he came machanam. You can give the same teretz. Going to ksav yadai. The Bezdin, like we said, Bezdin had a previous example of his handwriting. That he knew that this shtar was okay. Even in what, if he's not muchsik sayodei Bezdin, because there's a kasiv that a chassan is not believed. So it says openly, even what if it wasn't muchsik sayodei Bezdin, so it doesn't help. Umay kushya, dilma gezeres melachi. Maybe it's a gezeres melech. In other words, it's nothing to do with Nemanis. It has nothing to do with Nemanis. It has just to do with Gezeres HaKosiv. That the Torah says not that we chayish this guy. The Torah doesn't trust this guy. Not that Torah doesn't trust. The Torah says he can't be an aid. He can't be an aid. But not because we're chayish that he's going to lie. If you lie Teimahachi, Moshe v'Aaron l'chesonam mishum delay mehim delay. You say Moshe v'Aaron to their son-in-laws. If Moshe would sign to his son-in-law, or Aaron would sign to his son-in-law, you can tell me not believed? Of course they believe. El it's Gezeres HaKosiv. El Gezeres Melech hu shlo yi'idu lehem. Hachanami Gezeres Melech hu shlo yi'idu that the chasnoi shouldn't go ahead and be kasher. So what was your kasha? He's not believed, but other people are believed. He's not believed it's Gezeres HaMelech. And so therefore, so far we've gone ahead, attacked the Sholchem Itam, trying hard, struggling to find the case where of Dinei Mominus, where it doesn't make sense, So we haven't been successful. We're going back now to case number 1, or case number 2, on the top line. We're going to the case, Ben Shemacha and Benichsei Aviv, Bechaye Aviv. The son sold, and Reuven sold land in the lifetime of Yaakov. Reuven died, Yaakov died, and Chanoich is taking the land away from the people that Reuven had sold it to. That's the case. And what was the kasha over there? Kasha was maybe he got it directly from the. Why is it so shver? Maybe Reuven had nothing to do with it. If Reuven had nothing to do with it, then what? Then it's got it directly from my grandfather, so I could take it from you. That was the dialogue, right? We're going back to show that was shver. We're going back to show that was shver. Okay, says the Gemara. Very good. The case, the top case which I just spoke out, with the kashlach tachas avesecha yebanecha, that they take the place of the son takes the bnei bonim hareim kibonim. Ahu bebracha ksiv. That's a bracha. Says Rashbam. The bracha the ksiv shet tzadikim yesh lehem bonim ubnei bonim. Tzadikim are zeichet have children and grandchildren liyarsham to inherit them. Kidechsiv b'seifa tasisemu lasarim b'chal haaretz. So it's not telling me a din that a son inherits his grandfather, that a grandson inherits his grandfather. That's not the din. Guys, so what? If he doesn't inherit, how do you get it? From his father. If he got it from his father, then how could you collect from the Lukuchas? The father sold that right. Again, the whole kasha was you got it directly from your grandfather, meaning your father was out of the picture. Your father who sold it. Now you're telling me that no, it's not that he's getting it from his grandfather. He's getting it from his father. The grandfather gave it to the son who's dead, and the son is giving it to you. But the son, your father, sold it. And therefore it doesn't make any sense how in the world Chanoich was able to go back to Lekuchas, since he received it from Reuven rather than from Yaakov. He was receiving it from Reuven rather than from Yaakov. And this pasuk that seemingly said that he gets it from Yaakov is a bracha. If he matzis ami bebracha, because if read the Gemara, you say it's speaking of bracha, aval inyan din aloi, but not inyan din. But Tanya, okay, we had this case. Okay, so now, guys, so you're telling me why is it shver? We have the case. Why is it shver? What's shver? He's getting it from Yaakov. He's getting it from Reuven. Chanoch's getting it from Reuven, his father, not from Yaakov. And Reuven had sold it. Yet Chanoch can take it away from Lekuchas, because since he didn't get it from Yaakov directly, He got it through his father, so his father sold that right. And nonetheless, he could take it away. That's what's shver. Now, you just, however, said that this pasuk in Tehillim is a bracha and not a din that you can collect from your grandfather. I'm going to show you that you could collect from your grandfather. Good? Guys, outside. The nakuda that makes this whole sugya difficult, that sholchem itam, is that you don't directly inherit your grandfather. So, if Chanoich is not inheriting Yaakov, how did the Nechasim get to him? Through his father, who inherited his father in the Keva, right? But you don't go direct, because the bracha, the pasuk in Tehillim, is a bracha. I'm going to show you that no, I'm going to show you that you do inherit directly your grandfather. And then if you do inherit your grandfather directly, then the Sholchem Itam is not shver. You go back, because we understand that Chanoich got it from Yaakov. So what I'm going to do is disprove your premise right now that you don't inherit your grandfather directly. I'm going to show you you do inherit your grandfather directly. Okay, I'm going to show you you inherit directly. So just 1 second, I want to. The Indian dina lo, the Indian din, inheriting your grandfather, it's not there. Inheriting your grandfather is not there, meaning you're going to get it. You're going to get it from your father. But Tanya, we should be vatnan. This is the case we had, the first case of the cases. Nafal abayis alav alaviv. The house falls on him and his father. The guys, what was the case outside? He's got balei chovos, but he doesn't have any money. If he inherits the father, the balei chov can collect from him. If he predeceases the father, they can't. Right? That was yesterday's daf. We went through 2 days ago, actually. But again, he falling on him and his father, he doesn't have a dime to his name. He doesn't have a dime to his name. He's got chayvais. If he has a dime to his name, he has to pay off the chayv. How does he get the dime? Through inheriting. The problem is that we don't know if he inherited the father or not. Perhaps he predeceased the father. If he predeceased the father, he got nothing, right? So now, but Tanya, nafala bayis alav alaviv. Alav va'al marishav, v'hais alav ksubas isho bal chayv. Yarshei av, those people who stand to inherit the father, aimim haben meis rishon. V'achar kach meis ha'av. U'bal chayv aimim ha'av meis rishon v'achar meis haben. Now, my lav Yarshei av, who are the Yarshei av? It's the bnei. It's the sons of the son. No, it's the grandson of the father. Guys, it's Chanoich. The father's Yaakov. The son is Ruvain, and the Yarshei Ha'av, the Yarish of Ruvain, is Chanoich. In other words, what we've been discussing. So the Yarshei Ha'av, Chanoich's taina is that what? That Yaakov predeceased Ruvain. No, excuse me, the opposite. Yarshei Ha'av, they say that what? They say that they want to keep it. So they say that Ruvain died before Yaakov. Ruvain died before Yaakov. Therefore, we're going to inherit who? Our grandfather. Guys, here's the point. Let's go through it. Here's the point over here. This is the knech. Their taina to collect is they're going to get it directly from their grandfather. Because if it goes to their father at all, then the Balchov has a taina. The Balchov has a yachas. So watch. Who are the two people here? Who are the two people here? You have Kanoi, you have the father is in the house, the grandfather, Yaakov, is in the house, and Reuven's in the house. Who is the Yarshei Ha'av? Who's the Yarshei Ha'av? That's Chanoich. That's Reuven's son. Good? Now, what's his taina? His taina is that my father died first. And therefore, you, Bal Choiv, have no connection to it because I'm going to collect from him. Yeah? What happens if you hold that you don't collect directly from him? What happens if you hold you collect the keva from your father? Then the Bal Choiv says, 1 second, either way, I have it, right? If he died first, I get it because your father had it. And even if your father died first, I'm still going to get it because you don't collect directly from your grandfather. You can collect through your father. It's a raya when they say that he died first. It must be you get directly from the grandfather, and therefore it uproots the havamina that you think the pasuk is only a bracha. You see, it's not a bracha. You see, in fact, it's a din. Okay, I'll say it one more time. I think the fingers work. Again, we have the three people in the discussion over here are the father Yaakov, the son Ruvain, and his son Chanoich. He is the Yarshei Av. That's the Havamina. Now, we don't know who died first. We know this guy has a chayv on him. Good. We know he doesn't have a dime to his name. Good. So if he doesn't have he dies without a dime, there's nothing to collect. How does he die without a dime? He dies first. He's still alive. He gets everything. And now when he dies, it goes to his grandson. That's his taina. That's his taina. It goes to the grandson. Why does it go to the grandson? Because he inherits him. Now, how does he inherit him? Directly, or does he inherit him through him? If you're telling me he inherits him directly, that's their taina. He died first. He died first. Therefore, he inherited. I get it directly. And you, the Baal Chayv, have nothing to it. But if you're going to tell me that what? That when he dies, he doesn't inherit him, only through him, bekever. So what difference does it make? If you're going to, if he dies first, whether he dies first or he dies first, they're going to have to pay up. Because him dying first, right? Clearly pay up because now it belongs to him. But even if him dies first, it's going to go this way through him to him. And therefore, what's the taina? When they make the taina, it must be you go ahead and get directly from Yaakov and not from moving, going through the parsha. Let's see it inside. Avalin Yadin, a love from the top. For Tanan, Nafala Bayas a love. It's falling on Ruvain, Valav, on Yaakov, a love, Al Marishav. Let's hold off on that. We don't need that. V'hoisa a love, Ksubasisha, Ubal Chayv, and Ruvain has on him Ksubasisha and a Bal Chayv. Yarshei Av, the Yarshei Av, we're going to say in a second, is Chanoich, Oimrim Haben, Meis Rishon. Say that Ruvain died first. Yaakov, Meis Av, and then Yaakov died. Ubal Chayv, Oimrim, no. Ha'av, Meis Rishon. First, the grandfather died, Yaakov Mesa Ben, and then Reuven died. My love, Yarshei Av B'nei. It's not the sons of the Ben, which is Chanoich. Marisha of Achi is the brother of the Ben. And if you're going to say that Chanoich can't say I came mikoyach Yaakov, but I came mikoyach my father Reuven Bekever. It says as a bracha. Ki meis haben v'yakach meis av, when the son dies, when Reuven dies, and afterwards Yaakov dies, my hava, who cares? He dies. Name a little Baal Chayv. Let the Baal Chayv say, Yerushas avuhan kosha kilna. You took the Yerusha of your father. You took the Yerusha of your father. What do you mean? Even if your father died first, and Yaakov inherited it, it's coming back to you through your father. If it comes back through your father, once it hits your father, Reuven, I have a piece of the action. So again, you can get this one of two ways. Chanoich, you can get it directly, or you can get it bump. So I have a raya, you're getting it directly. Why? Because their taina is you should be able to get anything. You, the Baal Chayv of Reuven, should get anything because I'm getting directly from my grandfather. Now, this is all predicated upon saying that the Yarshei Haben is Chanoich. What happens if the Yarshei Haben is somebody else? Then you have no proof. So that's what the Gemara says now. You have no proof. Says Gemara, no. La Yarshei Av Achiv. The Yarsha of the Av is his brothers. It's not his son. It's Shimon Levi. It's not Chanoich. Marisha is Achi Davua is his uncles. Bottom line is, you don't have a slug up, guys. Could be you don't collect directly from the grandfather. And the reason why this case work would be because it's not speaking where there's a son over here. It's rather there's a brother over here. Boy, my name Rav Sheshes. Ben Mahu Sheyirish es imoy bekever. What's the din of inheriting your mother bekever? So your mother dies. She inherits something bekever. Can she give it to you Lahanchil la'achim min ha'av. Okay, so here we have a chart. Okay, here the two people we have to know about, guys, is this guy and this guy. The son and the mother's father. Okay? This son, these are what? His brothers. His husband got two wives. These are his brothers. This is the mother's brothers, right? The father on the same line. Okay. Can he inherit his mother Bekeva to give to what? His? Or no, does it stay by here? That's the Shaila. Can he give to the gray stripes? If he inherits his mother dies, can he inherit the mother to give to them? Okay, I'll keep it open for a while. Let's see what we got. Ben Maushe Yirish es Imoy Bekever. Lahanchil la'achim min ha'av. Amul Rav Sheshes Tinisua. Ha'av shenishpa. A father that was captured in a faraway place. Umeis b'noy b'Medina. And his son died in Medina. And you don't know who died first. Uben shenishpa b'meis. Or a ben that was captured and killed and died of Medina. And you don't know Umeis of Medina. You don't know who died first. Yorshei Av, Yorshei Ben Yachloku. In that case, the Yorshim of the father and the Yorshim of the son, they'll divide it. Now, what's the case? If you're saying the way you just said it, Hainiu Yorshei Av, Hainiu Yorshei Ben. Who are they? Who's the Yorshei Av and who's the Yorshei Ben? Because if the son doesn't have any sons, the sons have any sons, the Yorshim of the father and the Yorshim of him are the same. In other words, if he doesn't have anyone sons to inherit to, so the father, he inherits the father. The father will inherit him. Vim ben Yeshban, if he has sons, and then therefore what? It would go to his sons. Elulav hochikamar. Av shenishba umeis. Av shenishba, and he doesn't have any sons. Umeis. Then bitoy b'Medina, and he has a daughter, and the son of the daughter, his grandson from the daughter is the Medina, or ben bitoy shenishba, or his grandson, the son of his daughter, was captured. Umeis avi imoy b'Medina, and the father of his mother dies in Medina. We don't know which died first. So Yarshei Av, Yarshei Ben, Yachleiku. In that case, they're going to be Yachleiku. Vim Isa, if you're going to tell me that you inherit Bekever, Nehi Nami the Ben Meis Berishain, good, the Ben died first. Lirsa Lavua the Ime, Bekavre, let the father of the mother inherit Bekever, will Sinu Lachua Min Avua, and to be Marishit to what? To his Achua, his brother, Min Avua, from the father. Elalav Shmamina, Eina Ben Yarish Asima Bekever, Lahanchil Laav Mi Ben. Right? So he cannot go ahead and inherit. He cannot go ahead and inherit to go ahead and give that over. It's not possible for him to go ahead and give that over. It must be that it must be that you don't inherit. It must be that you don't inherit. If he would die first, right? That's the son. Here's the two people in the discussion. The son. Now, if you're telling me that he would die first, that he would die, right? And his mother inherits the father. So he would inherit when his mother dies bekever to give to them. Or do you say that what? That no. Do you say that he can't inherit his mother bekever? So when he dies, it goes to over here. And since we say yechloku, it must be that what? That he doesn't go ahead and inherit. Because if he didn't inherit his mother's bekever, they would get it. In other words, again, he would inherit his mother bekever when he's bekever. He's dead. He inherits his mother bekever to bequeath to his paternal brothers. These are his paternal brothers. They have the same father. It's a mother's husband, but it's the same right, second wife. It's one husband. This guy is the father to all these kids. Correct? Guys, you see that? Look, this guy over here is the father. He's the father to him, and him. So these are what? These are his brothers. They can inherit him. So his mother dies. His mother dies. Hey, we got a little. Who did that? All of a sudden it became blue. Anyway, if his mother dies and he's when she dies and he's bekever, he can give it to them. Ella, when you say you don't give it to them, you should see that you don't inherit bekever. That's the raya. It's a little child helped a little bit. Okay. So Amalei Rav Acha Bar Menyumi, right, says also Afananami Tanina in a Mishnah that a son does not inherit mother bekever. Nafal abayas lo v'alimai, if the house fell upon him and his mother, right, and we want to know who died first. Elu ve'elu moedim sheyachloku. Even Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel will be moedim in the case yachloku because they both come to the time of Yerusha. Then Isa that a son inherits his mother bekever, hinami the bein meis bereisha, whether he died first. Lirsei le'imei bekever, let him go ahead, though he's dead, inherit his mother bekever. Lirsu inu la'achim avua. I passed the Yerusha on to what? His brothers from his father's side. In other words, there we said they're yachloiku. If he inherits his mother bekever, why yachloiku? Pass it over to his side. After all, he inherited his mother. He's dead. He inherited his mother bekever. Guys, the case was the Mishnah we saw yesterday. A mother and a son. The mother has the property. The son has a taina. Right? If the son dies first, it stays by the mother's family. But if the son died first and then the mother dies, if he inherits bekever, it should go to his family, not her family. Yet we see it goes to her family. It's the charaya that he doesn't inherit bekever. Allah shmamino, you have a raya. Eina ben yorish asima bekever. A son does not inherit his mother when he's dead. Lahan chalachim in achim shmamino. You have a clear cut raya. Okay. The time of my
place. Why is it yachlokal at all? Who's splitting it? His brothers and his uncles?
Yeah. In that chart?
Yeah. So why is it yachlokal at all? It should be either or.
I guess they don't know. I guess it's a suffix who died. You don't know who died first, Benjamin.
Then it's not a proof that you don't. If you don't know,
there's no first. Oh, it is a proof. Because if bekever, you wouldn't be yachleiko. You would only go to.
If you knew who died first, you'd go to that way. But
you go to this. Yeah, let me
died first.
In other words, if we don't care if he died first, when his mother dies, even if he died first, he should go bekever and give it over here. Since we don't do that, since we're mesupik and divide it up, clearly you're not going after the death of the even if he died first, right before the mother's father. When the father dies, he's going to inherit the mother bekever to give it to him. But you don't say that. You say, look, it's a raya that you don't say that.
Okay.
And now the other cases is pretty much a clear-cut raya. The case where, again, he's dying and his mother's dying, you know who dies first. Well, it should make a difference. If he's machal the mother bekever, so even if he dies first, he should be able to give it to his paternal brothers. Okay. Now, what's the reason that a son doesn't get his mother bekever? We saw that earlier in the Masechta on Daf Kufya Dalet. There's two psukim. There's a pasuk, Leisis of Nachlo lebnei Yisrael. This is by Midbar Lamed Vav Zayin. Leisis of Nachlo lebnei Yisrael mimata el mata, and there's a pasuk Lamed Vav Tes. Leisis of Nachlo mimata lemata. So there's two psukim that deal with Leisis of Nachlo lebnei Yisrael mata lemata. And Leisisa Nachla Mimata Lamata Acher to another one. So why do you need two psukim for it? Like Tisaf, speaking of transferring over, right? So you're speaking of transferring over. So you have two psukim that speak about transfer. So now the Gemara is going to fear rice. The Gemara is going to fear rice. The time of my, what's the reason that you don't inherit your mother bekever? Rabbi, Nemron Siba beben. It says Siba by a son, but Nemron Siba bebal, and it says Siba what by a husband, where they get married and they have nechasim from their wives. Mas Siba amur bebal, just as when the Siba by the husband, ein abal yorish es ishte bekever, a husband when he dies predeceases his wife. The wife keeps it. It doesn't give it to a husband kever to give to his side of the family. Ab Siba ben, so too the Siba by the son ain't a ben yorish asima bekever. So we know that if a husband dies, if a wife dies, the husband dies first. He doesn't inherit the wife bekever. So just so too, if the mother dies, the son does not inherit bekever. Lahanchil la'achim in av. He had this Gemara early in the Masechta. I'm selling you the property of a person named Bar Sisan. There was a piece of land. It was called the property of Bar Sisan. Now, not necessarily is it known that it belonged to Bar Sisan. It just happened to be called that way. Okay, it happened to be called that way. So the shaila is, was it part of the sale or not part of the sale? So Amalei, the Moicha says, Halav bar, the Beibar Sisan he. It's not part of the sale. The Ikrayu who the Mekraya, the Beibar Sisan, it's just called that way. And the Lekeach is tining, no, it's part of the sale. Asl Kamei the Rav Nachman, they came before Rav Nachman, and Ukmi Biyadei the Lekeach. He put it in the hands, Rav Nachman put it in the hands what? Of the Lekeach. So who's the muhsik? The lekeach is the muhsik, right? And now it's upon the moicher to bring a raya. This is important, guys. Names are important. So it puts it in the possession. The new guy gets it, and the old guy has to bring a raya. Okay, that is the shita of Rav Nachman. So Amalei Rav Nachman. Said Rabbi to Rav Nachman, Dina Hachi, Hamaitzi Mechaber, Olav Araya. The moicher has it in his possession. It should be on the Lekeach to bring a raya. You're putting it in the hands of the Lekeach. Rabbi says it should be in the hands of the moicher, and the Lekeach should have to prove that it's part of the sale, not just called Bar Sisan. Guys, it's important. Rav Nachman says the moicher is the Maitzi Lekeach, Maitzi Mechaber. Rabbi says the lekeach is the Maitzi Mechaberei. Now, for Rami the Rava ad the Rava, the Rav Nachman ad the Rav Nachman, and now we're going to ask a stira. What's the stira? The person said to his friend, "My boy's by Basra. What are you doing in my house?" So Amalei, the squatter says to him, "Milach sevinta, I bought it from you. V'achlasi shani chazaka, and I was here for 3 years. And we know after 3 years you don't have to have a shtar." So Amalei. So the original owner said to him, I was living inside the house. I wasn't Michael because I was living inside the house. Okay, so the question is, who do you give it to? So Asalei Rav Nachman, the case came before Rav Nachman. Amalei, Zil Baru Achilasach. He told the person who owned who was squatting in the house now, go prove that you were alone for 3 years and the guy wasn't with you. Go prove that you were there. And there wasn't a guy with you. So in the case number one, who had to prove it? The moicher. In case number two, who had to prove it? Not the moicher, not the one who owned the house, but the squatter. So in case number one, it's the new guy who wins. In case number two, it's the old guy that wins. That's the stira. That's the stira. Okay. Amalei Rav Nachman, Dina Hachi, Hamaitz Mechaber Alav Araya. He says, right? This guy's sitting on there. You got to prove, you, the one who said that you were there for what? You were there for what? Inside, you would have to prove it. So Kasha the Rava and Kasha the Rav Nachman the Rachman. Okay, so let's go through the two kashas. Rav Nachman said in case number one, in the case of Bar Sisan, that who it's considered like keach, and the moicher has to go ahead and bring a raya. So in other words, the muhsik is the new guy, not the old guy. In the second case, the case of the squatter, Rav Nachman said, who gets it? The new guy. It's upon the old guy to go ahead and the squatter has to prove that he lived in the house. The squatter is the new guy. He has to prove, and the old guy doesn't have to prove it. So in the first case, the new guy's winning. In the second case, the old guy's winning. Rabbi said, in case number one, the moich is holding on to the property. The lekeach has to bring a raya that it's part of the sale. So the older guy wins. And the second one, Rabbi says what? That the owner, the new guy has to go ahead. The one who's the squatter has to go ahead. Not the squatter. The guy who says who's the original owner has to prove it. So here, the new guy is the one that has to prove it. So l'chayra, how do we go ahead and reconcile these two? So after the Gemara, the Rabbi lekasha, hacha by Rava moicha koi b'nichsei. Who's on the property now? The moicha, and he's claiming that it wasn't part of the sale. Therefore, hasam lokeach koi b'nichsei. In the second case, who's in the property? It's the guy who bought it. So Rabbi goes after the physical guys. Rabbi goes after the physical mitzias of the property. In case number one, the moich is still holding on to bar sisin, therefore you, l'keach, must prove it. In the second case, the guy is sitting in the house, right? And therefore, since he's sitting in the house for 3 years, then it's the new guy who has to prove it. Okay, it's the old guy who has to prove it, the guy who owned the house originally. Rav Nachman kasha. Rav Nachman's also not shver. Hacha kivin the amalei the bei bar sisin, since the moich said he's selling a bar sisin, and this property is called bar sisin. Therefore, what? In other words, the fact that you're saying bar sisin's property, this has to call bar sisin, you moicha, you put yourself in a hard pace. Therefore, since it's mistaber that it was bar sisin, it's more mistaber, it's part of the sale, you're going to have to disprove it. You, the moicha, will have to prove it, not the lekeach. But over here, in the case of the squatter, in the second case of Nachman says, it's no better than a guy being in the house when he's holding on to a star that people are saying is not true. Go ahead and prove your star. So too, the person who is there in the house now for 3 years, he should go ahead and prove that it was okay. So again, just like he was in there for 3 years, he'd have to prove it. So this guy's taina that he was squatting inside goes ahead, plates the onus on him. Mashenki in the bar sisin, which clearly is mashma that the lekeach has a taina, right? But therefore, it's on him. So that would answer the steer in both cases. Yes, Hesh.
Isn't the case of bar sisin? Don't they put markers in the field? I mean, the fact that it's called bar sisin or not, that you say here's the one.
You can put it's not a shaila whose field it is. You could put a marker there. The shaila is, was it sold or not? We're not questioning whose field it was. We're questioning, was it part of the sale? You put a marker. In other words, there's no shaila about whose field physically. Marker would just go ahead and demarcate a field. We're not speaking about demarcation. We know exactly where the field is. The question is whether he sold it or not. Hesh, again, what is putting a marker in? All it does is tell me this is that field, right? It's field A rather than field B. That's not the shaila. The shaila is, did I sell you that field or not? I know what the field is. The shaila is whether I sold it to you or not.
Okay.